What's up guys, it's Sal here and welcome to another episode of Loadout, the series where you pick an entire loadout customized just to your liking and I'll run with it for a few games and give you my humble opinion on it. Now if you would like to see your own loadout featured on Loadout, go ahead and leave a comment down below with a fully customized loadout, and the one with the most thumbs up will be featured in the next episode. Now as a side note, I just want to say thank you for those of you who submitted a loadout on last week's video. We had quite a few submissions and it was really exciting to have that variety, which is exactly what I asked for on last week's episode, and I was really excited to try out this particular loadout. So without further ado, let's take a look at the technicalities of it. So this week's loadout comes from username 14, and this is the US military loadout. Primary M16A4 with ACOG, laser sight, heavy barrel, and vertical grip. Secondary is the M9, grenade is the M67 frag. Now for gadgets, we have the medic bag and the defibs. It's not the greatest set of attachments for this gun, however it's still a lot of fun to use. I hope you enjoy. Now right off the bat, what's really unique about this loadout is our primary weapon, the M16A4 assault rifle, and what makes it unique is that it only has one fire mode, and that is burst fire. You will not find any other fire modes on this weapon, and that really sets it apart from all the other assault rifles, as every other assault rifle is primarily an automatic weapon. Now, burst fire weapons don't see much use in Battlefield 4, and I think a lot of that is just because sustained automatic fire is much easier to control than burst fire, because burst fire, the rate, you can burst slowly, you can burst quickly. In fact, you can burst quite quickly with this weapon, up to 800 rounds per minute in a close quarters environment. So it is nice to have that option, but for the most part, you get a lot of first shot recoil happening with every new burst, and that can cause your aim to be kind of all over the place and just a little sporadic and harder to control in close quarters areas, as opposed to having a sustained automatic fire. Now you may have noticed that when I'm aiming down sights, I'm kind of all over the place with my aim, and I think a lot of that was just because the ACOG sight was a little more sensitive than what I was used to, as I've never really used a 4x sight, let alone the ACOG sight. So that is just something that I was trying to get used to, and also the heavy barrel was making it a little hard on me in some of these clips, because I was using this weapon up to, I'm not sure how many kills, perhaps 50 kills I think I got the heavy barrel, and then once I slapped the heavy barrel on there, the increased vertical recoil kind of caught me by surprise, and I was kind of questioning whether or not the increased accuracy rather was worth it with the increased vertical recoil, because sure, your shots are theoretically more accurate, but what is the point of having more accurate shots if you have such high recoil that you're having such a hard time landing those shots? And that is one thing that I've often wondered about the heavy barrel. Sure, it is nice, 50% more accuracy, but at the same time, 50% more vertical recoil is quite a lot. So technically, if you are perfect at controlling your vertical recoil, the heavy barrel is an excellent option, but most people are not machines, most people are not perfect, and I was finding at longer distances, the heavy barrel was making it a little hard to control my aim. Now when it came time to kill people up close, I didn't do much aiming down sights because we had a 4x ACOG sight on there, and that wasn't that effective, but with the attachments provided, especially the laser sight and the vertical grip, we had quite good hip fire, so hip firing with this gun was quite nice, and we didn't have to waste time trying to see people up close with a 4x sight. Now when it came time to control the actual recoil of this weapon, I was having a bit of a hard time at those longer distances, because this weapon pulls quite hard to the right, and with the heavy barrel it was going quite hard up as well. So between bursts, I was having to do a lot of readjusting, and I found that there were a lot of times where I could have got the kill faster because I was having to do a lot of adjustments between bursts, and if I had a little less vertical recoil, I think it would have been a little more effective. Now as far as my actual in-game performance goes, I was finding that I was actually doing quite well with this weapon. It was nice to be able to sit back and actually be able to kill people from range, because I'm used to using a lot of carbines and PDWs, and I haven't really dabbled in DMRs or anything of mid to long range yet. So it was nice to have a 4x sight and a burst fire weapon capable of actually attaining kills at range. Now one thing that I would change about this loadout is the grenade. The M67 frag is quite honestly, it's not useless, it's just that there's such better options. The minis and the impact grenades, they don't do as much damage, but the fact that you get 2 impacts or 3 minis makes those grenades a lot more useful in my opinion, because with the frag you throw it, it takes forever to explode, and yes, it can one-shot somebody, but you only have one of them, and it takes forever to explode. And I was finding that in other games I've had a lot more use from the impact grenades or the minis. But overall I enjoyed this setup. My only real complaint is that at range I was having a hard time killing guys with the 4x sight and the heavy barrel because my sights were bouncing all over the place, and that was getting a little frustrating, but it was nice to have the option to take out guys from that range in the first place. And that just about wraps up today's episode of Loadout. Now guys, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more Battlefield content, you can subscribe to my channel. Now guys, remember to load up those comments so that I can load them out, and guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.